Thank you for watching, liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing right now. As noted, I've made over $1,000 in eBay auctions after having looked around my house and seeing a few objects that I realized I didn't really want or need. I was bit by the eBay bug. Of course, then I kind of ran out of things that I didn't want anymore and decided to kind of put the brakes on the whole eBay auctioning thing. Ponzi ended up selling her ice cream maker, which is cool. I have been looking for more things to eBay just because it was so lucrative. I mean, granted, I probably bought those original objects for more than they sold for, but, with something lying around the house, you might as well turn it into cash, right? eBay is the perfect place for it. And we have a top 5 tips as submitted by Tuxedo Jericho, who is quickly becoming one of my favorite people. I have a lot of favorite people, of course, not to exclude you if you're watching live or, on YouTube or whatnot. But he's creating such amazing top 5 lists for me. I'm having to break this top 5 up into 2. Well, it's actually a top 10. So the first top 5 eBay tips list that he's written is a top 5 list for people to become better eBayers. And this would be the top 5 selling tips for eBay. The next top 5 will be the top 5 buying tips for eBay. So, top 5 selling tips on eBay if you too are trying to sell your life online. Number 1, list your auction clearly. In the description, be as clear as possible. If the device is damaged, say that it is. If it's new in the box, say it's new in the box. If still in mint condition, say so. If used and has some wear and tear, just say it. Honesty is the best policy. Number 2, start with a low bid price. You'd be astounded by how many people look at the starting price. If it's high enough that one could go to Walmart and pay a few dollars more to get it, then your starting price is too high. If you don't want under a certain amount, set a reserve price for the lowest you'd want to take. While this costs a little more in the listing, it makes it so that you can be happy knowing that the item won't go for less than what you really wanted it to. I wouldn't have believed this tip myself, but I ended up selling one of my old MP3 players. I had it on auction for, originally I think it was $75. It didn't sell. And I said, oh, fine, I'll relist it, but I relisted it at $50, thinking, well, I might as well try it. It ended up selling for right around $100. So I ended up making more by starting it less. It's just, I don't know, it's eBay math. I don't know, maybe this is the new math everybody keeps talking about, who knows. Anyway, that is very true, Tuxedo Jericho. Number 3, pictures. Pictures help sell. If someone can't see the item or a version of it, they might tend to go to another seller for the item. If you can, take pictures of your item, not a stock photo of the device. And just as an addendum to this, you might have noticed that I posted some YouTube videos for some of my items. And the reason for that was twofold. One, the people who subscribe to YouTube would know that I was eBaying the item at that point in time. And 2, because a picture is worth 1,000 words, a video is worth 1,000,000. Video and auctions, hand in hand. Number 4, set your shipping price fairly. If the shipping price is too much, people will balk at the item. The buyers will look at the item as junk. Now, if you specify which method you are using, they can then look to see what it costs themselves. Also, I've seen where some have automatic shipping calculators on the auction. This way, you can see what the cost is for quicker shipping methods. I've always listed my items, shipping and handling, depending on size, between $10 or $20, saying that the buyer pays for it. And usually with that, I'm able to get a UPS tracking number. I tend to ship by UPS. I don't necessarily go for the lowest price. UPS has always been pretty fair for me, both in receiving and in shipping. And that's not a paid endorsement, but I just wanted to say that because, if you ever bought an eBay auction from me. I recently sold a scanner, which we hardly used, and listed the shipping and handling at $50. And knowing that it was going to take this, because I looked at a similar item, and it was listed at $50, and the guy was definitely, into scanners much more than I was. And so I said, well, there's probably a reason he said it this. Lo and behold, it ended up costing right around $50. It shipped in the original box, but I had another box around it with all the, padding and everything, so that cost money. And then the shipping part cost money as well because it was rather heavy, and it ended up being right over $50. So even though it seemed high, it was completely accurate. I scanned in the receipt. I showed the guy. I said, look, I'm not, trying to, snow job you here. This is the way it is. So make sure you're not losing money on the shipping and handling, even if you, have something set at a low price. Number 5, allow buyers to ask questions. If you answer the questions they have quickly, they might be more tempted to buy your items simply because it looks like you cared about what they were asking about. That is very much true. He's got a couple other bonus tips. I have a bonus tip to throw in here as well. One of the things that I noticed, it's much better to set your auction timeline to 24 hours instead of like a week or even more than a day, because most of the auction bidding takes place in the last 24 hours. And I've done it both ways, and it's absolutely true. Ponzi set her auction for 7 days. No one bid on it until the last day. So set it at 24 hours, you'll be happier. He adds, if the seller refuses to pay, you can give the second highest bidder a chance to get the item on a second chance. This is good if someone was being north of a southbound mule, whatever that means, and made a fraudulent bid near the end of the auction. And a second bonus tip, or I guess a third one after mine, use the ability for a person to buy it now. This really helps. You can set a low auction bid and an option to buy it at a certain price. It allows for the person to skip the entire auction portion and buy the item directly from you. The only bad thing is that if someone sends a bid, the buy it now option goes away. At least it did before. eBay might have changed this recently. Well, every time I see a buy it option for something that I want to get, I click it because it's like, forget it. I'll pay that price. That's good enough. Ship it. Send it off to me. Forget the auction. I'm ready to go. So great tips for eBay sellers. And I know there are probably hundreds, if not thousands, of eBay sellers hopefully watching this video, possibly sharing this video. If you are an eBay seller, that's cool. May buy something off you at some point in the future. I do believe there are a lot more legitimate eBay sellers than not. Got to watch out for eBay sellers sometimes. You read their feedback big time, and I'm sure that's going to be in the second list of tips for eBay buyers, so stay tuned for that. Now, if you have a top 5 list, whether it's related to eBay, auctions, websites, services, software, hardware, the internet, technology, or anything, not even tech-related, you can send me your top 5 list. I'd love to share it with the community at large. My email address is chris@pirillo.com. And then if you'd like to participate, in the chat and hear me making verbal typos live, well, we're streaming this video and audio live pretty much 24 hours a day. We're doing it all the time. So these people over here who are typing this in, they're legitimate people. Like if I tell them to type in hippopotamus, not only are you going to see about 14 different spellings of that word, and see, look, told you. You thought I was kidding. I told you. They are real, and you could be real too. Interact with us in the chat room. As I said, we're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, at live.pirillo.com. We'll see you later.